systematic terror attacks, Bill Gates, Henry Kissinger, New World Order mind control, Bank of America stealing homes with cut and paste mortgage loans, police, state, taser guns, FEMA camps, where to run. Monsanto rules the food supply while Big Pharma books your mind. Prison system, puppeteers, foundations, fund beers, fund the evil through the years. The world's not as it appears. CIA smuggles drugs while Wachovia milks Fargo lawmen, then give the proceeds to the owners of the Federal Reserve Bank. Now the IRS takes money out of every single check. Money they created out of thin air and leave you with debt. They want to make you a serf, a slave to their demand. They want to take your life in every way they can. Fluoride, GMO, vaccines, chemtrails, United Nations genocide. The world they show us is not real. This is how they kill and steal. Rothschild, Bundy, Rockefeller, Club of Rome. On the Georgia Guide, soldiers written in stone. Cut through the matrix, awaken to the lies. Do not be hypnotized. We are one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Nema, we are Change Connecticut, and you are watching the Truth Talk News. Okay, it is Tuesday, the 29th of May, 2012. A lot of stuff going on. Just ran through the door right before airtime and collected a few things and a few thoughts. Let's see. Well, we got Bilderberg coming up. And we have Harry Link of Truth right here on Death to the New World Order on truthbroadcastnetwork.com. He's down there. He's down at Bilderberg. He journeyed down today. He'll probably be calling in during this show. He will be doing his show from Chantilly, Virginia, where the festivities will start commencing for the protesting of the Bilderberg meeting. I got quite a bit of information here that I compiled today. So you have a lot of people that are going to be upset about this. The elite are not having a good time. They don't like to be exposed. They don't like to have their goings-on publicized, their secret meetings. So we now have a whole gaggle of people, thousands of people that will be going down there. And Harry Link is among them, Death to the New World Order, on at 10 p.m. here on truthbroadcastnetwork.com. And we have some other information about it. I have some listings of the events or the current activities. Apparently, there's somewhat of a cohesiveness to this, some bit of an idea of how to protest these people. I don't know exactly who concocted this agenda or this itinerary, similar to this controlled opposition that we have with the Occupy Wall Street movement and Occupy movement. Just wondering how much controlled opposition is involved here with the Bilderberg meetings and the coverage of it, because it's so much in the light. And Harry and I talked about this yesterday on the show, and he was bringing to light again things such as the fact that it's interesting how far we have gotten and how much information we have gotten out and why we haven't been shut down and why there aren't even more attacks than there have been. And you got to wonder what's going on. It's almost like, they're goading it on. They're allowing it to happen, allowing these protests to go on and to cover them and to stop being under this cloak of darkness, or so much darkness. So Thursday, May 31st at 1 o'clock Everybody's supposed to mass near the main entrance to the hotel, which is in Chantilly, Virginia. Again, it's the specifically, if anyone wants to attend, or is there anywhere in that area, it is the Westfields Marriott Washington Dulles Hotel, Dulles, CIA, in Chantilly, Virginia. Okay, so this is where the criminals meet for the plans of how they can consolidate more power and bring in the New World Order closer and closer each year, taking away more rights, causing more conflicts. We're going to go over that. I've got a great format of news here, plus 2 hours worth of material I never got to because of the short show on We Are Change Connecticut from Saturday's broadcast. Okay, all right. We have Friday, the first major bullhorning, which is what Harry does, and Harry will have some great footage. I'm sure we'll be able to get this thing posted up here. It's going to be awesome here on Truth Network, truthbroadcastnetwork.com. He's got a lot of archive footage from 9/11, and hopefully this year, I know this year, I'm definitely going down to Ground Zero at 9/11, and if Harry's going to be heading down there, we'll be combining our efforts and meeting in person for the first time, which will be really cool. I wasn't able to get down there last year, and unfortunately, it just worked out that way. So the Bilderbergers, not to ramble on, and it seems like I'm rambling on. I just ran in my house, literally. I mean, I didn't even stop. I just got out of work. I don't really want to try to be late, but it takes a few minutes to get set up, so maybe I'll try to have my setups done before I leave in the in the morning for work. I mean, this is real important. That's why Harry asked me to do this, to help out and to get the information out. And that's why I'll sacrifice the time for it, because it's worth it. It's so important that everyone gets to know what's going on. So we have these criminals, a whole list of them, and I'm going to go through the names of the people that are going to be there. And the Logan Act is being violated. We know that all these people in our government are attending. But technically, Geithner is he's the Federal Reserve is not part of our government. So all these Federal Reserve criminals, remember the Federal Reserve is not part of our government. So it's just very thought-provoking. I mean, I have a lot of feelings about it. I mean, I know I like to try to dig right into the details. I try not to get too involved with thoughts and speculations, but I'm speculating quite a bit about this Bilderberg meeting. And I think that we have some serious problems, and I think the news articles that I chose to cover this hour will amplify that. Now, again, the itinerary for this Bilderberg 2012 meeting, which is, I don't know how they came up with this itinerary, as I mentioned, interesting to me that they just decide to create this itinerary, but it is there, and it's shared on all social networks. Everybody arrives to Mass near the main entrance on Thursday at 1 o'clock. This is when the members start arriving. On Friday, the first major bullhorning and protest of Bilderberg will take place. On Saturday at 10 o'clock and at 6 p.m. until dark, we'll see two main rallies, one in the morning and one in the evening until nightfall. Since the rally is likely to be accessible to most people, please attend early. Sunday, June 3rd, expect most Bilderberg members to leave on Sunday morning. Please be in place nice and early to give them a good send-off. That's when they leave. All right, now inside, of course, we don't know what they're doing or what they're saying. That's the speculation. We know they're going to be all here. We know they're going to be trying to hide. But it's very interesting. Over the last several years, the last decade, like I mentioned on last night's show, was that, 10 years ago, you were a conspiracy theorist. The Bilderbergs didn't exist. Now, of course, they're actually out in public, and there's little blurbs coming out about them. They can't deny their existence any longer. That's the fact. And since they can't deny their existence, they have to co-opt it. So somehow there's a spin on this, and I don't know exactly how it's being put on yet, But there's a spin on this. I'm going to bring this to greater brains than myself and in our network and try to come up with a possible scenario. Because again, when we talk about speculation, I'm very, very, very careful to make note that we are speculating. Okay, when I'm speaking fact, it's one thing. But speculation is not fact. So speculating, we have many, many, many problems here. We have Al-Qaeda terror boss killed in the NATO airstrike recently. Saif al-Taifi, the terrorist group's senior-most leader in Afghanistan, was a key figure in commanding attacks on foreign forces. This is from The Sun. But Taifi, a Saudi, was killed in a precision airstrike on Sunday in northeastern Kunar province, NATO said. He was the key figure commanding attacks on foreign forces. Now, he is also known as Mustaq and Nazim, as was Al-Qaeda's second highest leader in Afghanistan, responsible for commanding foreign insurgents, in addition to directing attacks against coalition and Afghan forces, NATO's International Security Assistance Force said in a statement. Okay, now keep this in mind about Al-Qaeda and the fighting of Al-Qaeda and killing Al-Qaeda. Remember, Al-Qaeda is again an organization that has been on record, put together by Zbigniew Brzezinski. It is his mastermind, part of this New World Order. They are a tool that is used, a boogeyman with puppet figure boogeymen. It is sort of like, again, part of this whole control. Go back to history, as I said in all these shows. Don't listen to what I say. Research what I say about the Shah of Iran and Operation Ajax. And research what I say about Operation Gladio and the Bologna bombings and the continuous connections that we have now to the Vatican and the New World Order. Okay? The Pope himself, Benedict, saying that we need to embrace the New World Order. I don't make this stuff up. I can't even believe it. I mean, sometimes I'm just astounded at the depth of it. And Harry and I were talking about this last night. By the way, it's 9/11. It is now 9/11. And funny how that number always rings true. I lost a cousin on 9/11. His name was Alan Merdinger, and he died at work, getting there early at Cantor Fitzgerald. It's all related, ladies and gentlemen. Al-Qaeda, the CIA, the Mafia, the Vatican, the Illuminati. All working together to bring in a formal world government through these major banking houses, these big influential owners of the corporations of the central banks. Now, Al-Qaeda is again being utilized, just like recently in an article, just the Red Brigades are again under attack in the media with Operation Gladio, as I mentioned, that the communists, the Red Communist Scare. I mean, my God, here in New Haven, they're putting money, our government is putting money, and people are putting money into a communist center, a cultural arts center for communism, a communism party center. I mean, look this up. Connecticut Communist Party, New Haven, Connecticut. Go in there. They're there. Communists. Obamaites and others. I mean, I just can't even understand it, you know? The authoritarianism. Everyone's like, okay, it's okay. I got TV. I got my car payment. I got nice things. You know, I go out and, dance and go to the bars and hang out and live my life. And I don't know what you're talking about. I go to the movies. I have, I do whatever I want. I don't know. What are you talking about? I'm not a slave. My God, you're insane. I'm not a slave. I have a job. I have a mortgage. I have a car payment. I'm I'm not a slave. I pay taxes on my income. I'm not a slave. I earn a lot of money, but the government takes most of it through my personal taxes, from my income, and from my business taxes, from my corporate write-offs that really don't they're not covering the costs, and my personal property taxes are up, and I got to pay taxes on my machinery here in Connecticut. I mean, ha 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 ha. Okay, getting the picture, everybody? This is what's happening across the board, and we got to stop it. And Bilderberger, the Bilderbergs, are intent on bringing in the world government, more authoritarianism, more control over all these things. So the battle plan that we have here is Jim Tucker, who is putting out his own particular itinerary that he announced. I don't know who came up with this other itinerary. Maybe it was Alex Jones, Infowars.com. I don't know. But Jim Tucker's Bilderberg itinerary states his battle plan. Mark Rover Anderson and he arrive early, so they try to develop sources and get inside information, and then they soon close off the resort on noon on Wednesday, which is tomorrow. So today, as Harry journeys down to the Westfield Marriott in Dulles, Washington area, down there in Virginia, Chantilly, we have Chase the Criminals. So there's a link here for www.bilderbergmeetings.org/governance.html. I'm sure if you just Googled bilderbergmeetings.org, you'd get plenty of information for that, for what's going on right now. I'm sure they're out there chasing these people that are there, and they're putting themselves in places probably. I mean, they hide in the bushes. There's going to be thousands of people there. There's going to be a tremendous amount of activity, and I'm very proud to be a part of this historic event, because Harry's going to be down there recording live, streaming some stuff down as his show comes on in 45 minutes. He's down in Chantilly. He'll be coming on and hopefully be calling in at the tail end, and I'll go over a little bit on this show tonight, and continuing through the week as we move along. But then we have Greet the Criminals, which is so nice, on Wednesday. So tomorrow is Greet the Criminals, so they'll all be coming. Haunt the Criminals on Thursday, and then keep gathering information on Friday. Saturday, watch the criminals play golf. David Rockefeller will 40-putt the first hole, quote-unquote. And on Sunday, bid the criminals farewell. And that's what's going on with his itinerary. Usually they get a lot of information. There are moles. We will get more truth as about their plans. For example, with Syria. As I said, I'm going to go into all these detailed informations. We're only about 15 minutes into the broadcast. Plenty of information to cover, plenty of time to cover it in. So we have Bilderberg's list. I'm starting off with the Bilderberg. Stick into it. And the list includes some, typically Etienne Davignon, who is the vice president of Suez Tractibal, and of course owns like 85% of Belgium. He is the honorary, basically, president or vice president as well. He's been running the show for quite some time. You have, among people that you'll know, USA. Now he is, of course, from Belgium. You, of course, know William H. Bill Gates from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, president of the Microsoft Corporation. He's there. You have Donald E. Graham, Catherine Graham's son or grandson, who's the president and CEO of the Washington Post. You have Henry Kissinger, who is a war criminal and should be arrested, who is the president of Kissinger Associates Incorporated. You have let's see, names that you would know, or important people. Robert Rubin. Robert Rubin, former Goldman Sachs ex-Treasury Secretary and co-president of the Council on Foreign Relations. I mean, there's just a tremendous list of names, but the ones that scream out, I'll shoot to you. And we have, oh my God, so many people in other countries. The names might not make sense, but you have the Royal Dutch Shell, the corporations, Fiat. I could just hit you with the corporations. It's unbelievable. All different types of corporations from all different aspects. Controlled media, from the media to the military industrial complex, to banking, to drugs and big pharma and medical technology and oil. Royal Dutch Shell. Incredible. Just with the American corporations, you can just go in there and Evercore Partners, Ripplewood Holdings. I mean, listen to this stuff. Harvard University professors such as Niall Ferguson, professor of economics at Harvard, George F. Baker, all of these people, these propagandists and traitors to the free enterprise system that we're supposed to be having, the liberty and freedom that just the other day we celebrated all the lost souls and those who have fought in battle, and they fought for these criminals. That's what really makes me mad. That's what really gets to me the most. Coca-Cola Corporation, Department of Energy, people, Attorney General, Paul Gallagher, Peter D. Sutherland, President of Goldman Sachs. I mean, on and on. I mean, it's a ridiculous list. Paul Volcker, former head of the Fed, created the problems in the 70s with the fiscal policies, put a lot of people out of business, and again consolidated and brought all of this evil upon us. He's the president of the Economic Recovery Advisory Board. On and on, names, on and on, lists. You have Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, which means war. You have Chief Research and Strategy Officer of Microsoft Corporation, Craig Mundy. You have American Enterprise Institute for Public Policy Research. I mean, come on. Then you have all of the Telefonica and all the different countries, ESP, which is the Spanish-speaking parts of the order. All these different companies in Spain and Mexico. I mean, it's just Canada, France, Austria, Norway, Finland, Italy. I mean, it is international, and their goal is to work through the United Nations to have this peace and love and prosperity and no borders and a one world government to save the world, with these bankers too and all the industrialists that will provide all the jobs for the people that will be forced to work and given employment, as I covered with the World Order just the other day, yesterday's show. I'm not making this stuff up, and I even documented it was from the World Order and written by Eustace Mullins, and it's the Communist Manifesto being played out, little slowly played out. It's like a 500 or 5,000 piece puzzle, and there's just only about 100 pieces on the board now that people can see. We got to fill in all those pieces. and then everyone will see. And when they do, this will stop. It'll end. Because they really basically are, if we can stop them before they create an event that'll bring in hot tyranny, like a false flag attack that would give the government reasons to attack a certain group of people, like the sovereigns or liberty people, and that would be a big problem. But short of that, and if that doesn't occur, it's going to be very difficult as things progress and as we get this message out for the masses not to finally wake up and realize that, you know something? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So if you're voting Democrat, and then it doesn't work and you vote Republican, and then it doesn't work and you vote Democrat, and then it doesn't work and you vote Republican, and then you vote party line, and it never works, and everything just gets worse. Gee, wouldn't that be the definition of insanity? I don't know, you tell me. You're the ones voting out there. I'm a libertarian. I want freedom and liberty. I don't want bureaucrats telling me, how much toothpaste to use and poisoning me with fluoride. How much water I can use in my sink when I'm brushing my teeth, or taking a shower, or flushing a toilet, or how much the oil companies and all these other criminals fleece the people, and then all of a sudden it's election year, so Obama's going to go and help us. Yeah. Let's go over some news, so I don't have to rant, because I could just go into like a 40-minute rant, and that would be the end of the show. So, NATO officials. Now, this is how it works, okay? I'm going to go deeply into the psychological warfare being put upon us, the use of Orwellian techniques, Orwellian descriptions, such as doublethink, doublespeak, however you wish to use it. I mean, they're interchangeable. NATO officials, no plan to intervene in Syria. That's right, the United States and NATO say that the North Atlantic Alliance has no intention of intervening to militarily quell the violence in Syria. This is what they're telling you. There is no reason to go after them, even though they're doing horrific things. We will not intervene. More horrific things will happen and have happened, and now the U.S. military may intervene. So the truth is that nothing changed. The situation was the same. They used another experience with this horrific murder of children and all these things that have just recently transpired. Women and children. Oh, horrible. I mean, I'm sorry to sound sarcastic, but I mean, come on, wake up, everybody. Look what they're doing. They're just manipulating your thought processes. So yes, oh, this is terrible. So now, yes. So all along, no military action. We're not going to let them do it. Now we have to consider it because of this event. Hegelian dialectic. Problem, reaction, solution. Okay? That's what we just went through here with this experience with Syria. So General Martin Dempsey, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who again the Joint Chiefs of Staff created Operation Northwoods and all these other lunatic, crazy ideas. President Kennedy said, "You're crazy. I'm not going to listen to that." On record, all these things happened. They create these things. They're warmongering people, compensated by the military-industrial complex and their ideologies, which compromise liberty and freedom, and kill innocent Americans for interests of not the nation's interest, not national security. More death, destruction, lies, and evil has been perpetrated in the name of national security in this country than Hitler transpired. And I tell you, it's not much different. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's just unbelievable. National security, national security. Think about how many people we have murdered because and gone on with these things. Well, we can't give you this information because of national security. Wars, 1.5 million Iraqis dead because of disinformation. That's what it boils down to, right? With Bush, disinformation. We didn't know, but we did know. We had solid information. Come on. It's genocide. and the United Nations and Darfur and all these other places, they're not helping to end it. They're helping to encourage it. That's the lie. That's the big lie. That's what you have to understand. So it is worse than Hitler. Because Hitler was one man with one country, in one country. This is a world order of people like Hitler. That's about all I could say about that. So you have General Martin Dempsey, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, warned Syria it could face armed intervention following the massacre of women and children by tanks and artillery in Hula. Dempsey said that following the UN Security Council's condemnation of the slaughter, in which more than 100 people were killed, many of them children, the U.S. would, again, twice they said that in the article. Twice. I'm reading an article. See, this is how they do it. They pump that information out to you, and then they emphasize the information they want you to have. And they just did it in 2 sentences. There's a breakdown of it, a good breakdown of it. All right. I'm on fire. All right. The U.S. would be prepared to act militarily if it was asked to do so. There's always a military option, he said. You always find in military leaders to be somewhat cautious about the use of force, but because we're never entirely sure what will come out of it on the other side. Yeah, like a 50-year war, well, 10-year war, whatever. Or 50 years of conflict, endless conflict. That's what the New World Order is, endless war. We're at war with Eurasia. We've never been at war with Eurasia. It's breaking down this, like, it's just, oh, my whole life, all we've ever known is war. Well, that's part of the mind control. All right, you'll always find military leaders cautious, okay? But that said, it may come to a point with Syria because of the atrocities that we must act. Yeah. That's true. Frightening and true. The West seeks civil war in Syria. This is from Press TV, and I happen to agree with this position. Here's how that COINTELPRO information just worked out, giving you this information, this propaganda, okay, where their true intention, I should say their Hegelian dialectic, again, the problem, reaction, solution. In this case, we have these horrific crimes against children and women. This happened in World War I, when they said that soldiers were being crucified. I mean, crucified by the Germans. Horrific things they believe. The people believe. Now we have the ability, through the internet, to show people the truth, and they want to shut us down. They want to censor us. They want to attack us, discredit us, because we're breaking through the matrix. And we need to continue. And our efforts have to increase. So people like Harry Link and of here on truthbroadcastnetwork.com and informedradio.com and ProjectFreedom.ws and We the People Network, WTPN, WTPnetwork.com, and Roger Landry and all of the great people that are helping to get this message out to millions of people. You know, and there are people that are like-minded in these organizations, and they're helping. Pam Suggs at UnitedTruthSeekers.com. On and on. They can't silence our voices if we all speak out. So I again encourage everybody to make videos and post them of your thoughts, exposing this. Do your research, find your truth. If it doesn't enrage you, where is your humanity? Where is your... What does that say about you? If you understand this and learn this information, and it doesn't turn you and turn your stomach and give you a burning desire to get the information out, what could? What does that say about you? Well, it's the way it is. You know, it says you're in inertia, which is laziness. You have to tell people. And you're afraid of being misjudged, or afraid of being prejudged or judged. Who cares in the end? They're poisoning our water. They're poisoning our food. They're poisoning us with vaccines. They are poisoning us with radiologicals. They are poisoning us and spying on us, and on and on and on, and ranting. I can do it for the end, to the end of the show. So what do you really care about what your sheeple friends think? Maybe you'll wake them up if you try. That's what you need to do, and that's what we all need to do, is try to wake these people up. Everybody. You know, I do this with love for humanity and my fellow man, the brothers in liberty and my sisters in liberty and all the people that are helping us. You know, we're not the crazy ones. We're the only ones with lucid minds that are able to break through this mind control matrix and the propaganda associated with it, and the controlled structure, and explaining who these people are, so you know why thousands of people are going down to Bilderberg to protest. Why you know the truth between fact and fiction. That's the most important thing. Exposing the criminals. And the more we do for each other by getting this information out and sharing it and spreading it, the more we do for ourselves. It is the most selfless thing you can do to help someone else. All right? And that's what we are doing by spending our time sharing this information. All of us in this movement. I mean, I can rattle off names. Chris Freedom Flowers, my good friend. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be doing this. He's the one that said, you should do this. And I says, you know what, I should. I had all this knowledge, and I was sitting on the couch listening to other people talk about stuff, like a lot of people are doing. Or watching videos, like a lot of people are doing. But I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't taking action. I was in a state of inertia. I was drinking in everything. I was learning. I was studying. But what is knowledge if it is not shared? The whole idea of the Illuminati is to have this hidden knowledge, this hidden secret knowledge that they keep from the people. Well, my goal is to learn the hidden knowledge and expose it. All of it. Including the treachery and evil. Alright. I guess that was my rant. It was sort of mellow. Alright, mellow rant. Usually, maybe I'm getting mellow as we move along here. They haven't done anything yet. They blow something up, it's going to get crazy again. I'm just afraid that they are. I mean, really, I keep saying that, and I don't want to scare people. It's not fear-mongering, but God, do I have this terrible premonition about something going to happen. And it's going to happen like around the election, near that time, something bad. One of these things, one of these events, they're setting up so many scenarios. Let's go into these scenarios. So we got the serious scenario. No, we're not going to help them. Well, if they ask us, we are going to help them. Okay. All right. And the United States and its Western allies are actually trying to incite a civil war in order to pave the way for military intervention. And that's what a Syrian activist tells Press TV. It's absolutely true. The whole point of this is to try to incite and create a civil war in Syria, trying to create the pretext for some intervention where then with the NATO allies and everyone, and then they can go in there and put another puppet in, which is what they want to do, like they've done in Egypt, like they've done in Libya. Syria's next. Iran's on the map too. In fact, Panetta says the U.S. is ready now to attack Iran. On Sunday, U.S. Secretary of Defense Leon Panetta said the United States is ready for a military perspective to attack Iran under the guise of preventing it from obtaining nuclear weapons. The whole Israeli angle, that they're just a threat to have them. I think it was a complete failure in terms of context, said an Iranian diplomat. The more they talk, the worse it gets. Panetta's comments arrive after the U.S. and members of the United Nations Security Council held talks in Baghdad on Iran's supposed nuclear threat. Despite Iran's willingness to negotiate, a senior U.S. official has stated that harsher sanctions will be imposed on the Islamic Republic. The U.S. and Israel believe Iran is engaging in the talks. A third one will be held in Moscow next month in order to buy time for its nuclear program. We are doubtful it is possible to reach an agreement with Iran but we must exhaust the diplomatic path, because the alternative, whether it's a nuclear Iran or a regional war, is very serious. So says Israeli Army Radio, quoted as the source. Well, a New York Times op-ed article stated that unfortunately the newly built trust between Iran and the 5+1 powers is in danger of collapse because of the unreasonable insistence by hawkish politicians and pundits in the West who echo Tel Aviv's demands that Iran halt all enrichment activities and shut down the underground Fordo facility, even though the IAEA inspects it regularly, which is my whole point. Why? They're stirring the pot, they're stirring the trouble. That's all they do, is create chaos and disorder to rise their order out of. Period. Alright, so again, Panetta, terrible, terrible, terrible traitor. Now heading our military. It's just frightening. And we have the CIA is run by the other general, Petraeus. I mean, they just move them around back and forth, you know. Like in and out of Goldman Sachs into the Federal Reserve, like in and out of Monsanto into the Food and Drug Administration. And this is a little frightening. Security backdoor found in China-made U.S. military chip. Well, of course. Can you imagine our U.S. military is so petty and this country is so disgustingly vile to have a military chip produced in China? Of course they're going to put a backdoor on it. I mean, it's just sickening. Cambridge University researcher Sergei Shrbrogovich, oh God, I can't say his name, wrote that the chip in question is widely used in military and industrial applications. Now, this backdoor means it's wide open to intellectual property theft, fraud, and reverse engineering of the design to allow the introduction of a backdoor or Trojan. So are these people assholes or what? I mean, what else can I say about this? This is what's happened to our country. We don't even make our own stuff for our military. I mean, the big bombs are made here. That's the big industrial complex. But microchips and all this other stuff, hey, let's make it where it's cheap. You know, it's all about being cheap in the global world. It's a global economy, the global world. Microchips made in China that can be turned off, flipped on, turned off, accessed, downloaded, everything through a backdoor. Now, as this is going on, if it's not bad enough, the West is now mulling military action against Iran. So we got Syria and Iran, like I didn't see this coming and didn't report on this with We Are Change Connecticut with my co-host Vinny B. The Truth over and over again for the last 4 months, in and out for the shows. I mean, this is what they're doing. Promulgating war, cutting off sanctions, cutting off oil supplies, the Strait of whatever that Hormuz, whatever that place was over there, similar to what happened, which promulgated World War II by the embargoes and the oil embargoes against Japan, forced them to take action. They felt that they were being attacked, and they were being fiscally attacked. So that's what's happening here. They're trying to drain the financial. Nobody's buying Iran's oil. The EU is not buying their oil. Come on, everybody, wake up! This is what's happening. They're trying to just promote a war. They're trying to just sanction these people into war. That's what happened to Hitler. That's what happened to the Weimar Republic. What do you think that ended up happening in Germany? They're just doing the same thing over and over again. And we're the crazy people. We're the conspiracy theorists. Because we look at history and we research it and we see that it's happening over again and nobody's looking at it. Now I'm getting mad. Please, share this information with everyone you know. So the Daily News article here now states that some Western countries are considering military operation against Iran as an option over its nuclear program. I mean, this is insane. You got people here saying, no, everything's fine, they're in order, they're having their inspections, everything's going well, but no, we can't have that. We have to have a conflict So it's going to be an option because they're not listening to us. And we're going to bomb you. We're going to love bomb you. Okay? We're going to give you some freedom. We're going to give you some real good humanitarian aid and assistance. Love bombs like they did in Libya, 30,000 dead, right? Exactly. All right. Now, if this madness hasn't gotten even worse, Pakistani doctor who helped find bin Laden gets 33 years in prison, who led a phony vaccination campaign. Duh. Lots of these things are all phony vaccination campaigns and phony this and phony that and flu shots and get your shots, do this. Everybody needs a flu shot this year. All right? Cut through the matrix. Awaken to the lies. Do not be hypnotized. All right? So this is out of Islamabad. And the U.S. has been seeking release of Shakil Afridi ever since his arrest by Pakistani authorities after secret U.S. commando raid that killed the al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden. The bin Laden fable. They're trying to promulgate a little more information, which happened, basically a year ago. Defense Secretary Leon Panetta told 60 Minutes that Afridi had provided intelligence that assisted in the raid and criticized Pakistan's arrest of someone involved in helping track down the world's most wanted man, who was for 7 years 2 blocks from a CIA safe house. Nobody knew he was there, nobody saw him or anything. 7 years. I don't know. And then they buried him at sea, in accordance with Muslim tradition, of course. And nobody saw his body or his picture. It's just too terrific, and we wouldn't want to incite any riots or actions against the American people. Holy Christ in heaven. God have mercy on us all. We need your help. I mean, really, I don't know what else to say. Oh my God. Well, from the beginning, Pakistani authorities regarded Afridi as a traitor and ignored Washington's calls for his release. Now, the phony hepatitis B vaccination scheme was aimed at obtaining DNA evidence from bin Laden's residence, a sprawling 3-story compound down the road from the Pakistani military's version of West Point. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention that, too. It was right by their military, and they didn't know what was happening. Now, this is all... Come on, people, they're lying. It's just a lie. And just an hour, 2 hours drive from the capital, Islamabad, DNA samples would have allowed U.S. authorities to compare that evidence with DNA from bin Laden relatives on file in Washington. However, Afridi's vaccination ruse severely hampered the work of numerous Western aid organizations in Pakistan that report being harassed by the country's intelligence agents, who have grown suspicious of their affiliations. Some aid groups have reported difficulties in getting visas renewed for their Pakistani-based workers, while others say they are under constant surveillance by authorities or have had workers detained. Well, welcome to the New World Order, and it's coming to America. Okay, just like Afridi and his team of healthcare workers weren't able to obtain DNA samples from the bin Laden compound, but Panetta told 60 Minutes that he provided information to the CIA that was very helpful. Love it. Love to be lied to. That's why you're listening to Truth Talk News, and I'm Howard Nema of We Are Change Connecticut, and in just about 15 minutes we have Death to the New World Order with Harry Link, broadcasting from Chantilly, Virginia. Live streaming down there. This should be a really interesting show. I'm actually expecting him possibly to call in. I don't see him on the chat right now, but maybe we'll get some activity from him. If not, he will be streaming live. So I know that he's probably has some technical things, getting things ready for the show to broadcast live from Chantilly, and I'm sure it's going to be an awesome event. Looking forward to meeting up with him again as soon as we can, and getting some of his footage to share on our other networks. So we have a lot of stuff going on. The Vatican confirmed on Saturday that the Pope's butler had been arrested in embarrassing leak scandal, adding a Hollywood twist to the sordid tale of power struggles, intrigue, and the corruption at the highest levels of the Catholic Church. What a shock there, right, everybody? We have a few things here I think that I'll go into about Obama's administration. Now, we know about Solyndra. We know that Goldman Sachs got him elected. We know that he has all the same people that Bush had. We know that Romney has all the same supporters. So it's Obamney. It's you know, Obama, Obamney. It doesn't matter. They're the same. Robama. Okay? Same puppet, different face. Basically the same thing. Okay? You got the black face one and the white face one. And then the division of America and the hatred that they're promulgating against trying to incite as much bigotry and division as possible. Now, Obama is a black man and Romney is a Mormon. I mean, if you don't want to have more controversy with 300 million Americans, a good portion of them being Christians, you're going to have some issues. It's just a fact. Now, again, I'm not a racist. I don't have. I have no problem. I wish that we were all the same, because we are. But if we saw everyone as the same and we all looked the same, whatever that color would be, this would be one thing that the elite could not use to control us, because they control us by division. It is again part of this Hegelian dialectic, which I keep talking about. Controlling the opposition, dividing and conquering the people. That's what it is. So the Obama administration says, you know, we're going to help the oil companies now. We're going to tax the oil companies now, and we're going to close these loopholes. Well, why didn't you do that in 2008? Because it's election time. And now the Obama administration invested billions of dollars in companies supported by Energy Department insiders. Not just Solyndra that went out of business, but of course these insiders. Following the Solyndra controversy, the Department of Energy under President Barack Obama is now accused of funneling billions of dollars. This is from Noel Brinkerhoff of AllGov. Billions of dollars funding to companies that have connections within the department. An investigation by the Washington Post found that the Energy Department has approved nearly $4 billion in federal grants and financing to 21 companies supported by firms with connections to the 5 Obama administration staffers and advisors. Of this amount, $2.46 billion flowed to 9 businesses that have ties to Vantage Point Venture Partners, a venture capital firm, Weigel, an Energy Department advisor, worked before coming to Washington. This is nothing new. Like Michael Chernoff getting all the naked body scanners contracts set up and all signed, sealed, and delivered, and then to roll them out, they were all ready to roll out. They used the underwear bomber, who was all drugged up, Bawalib, the black guy, the drugged out guy on the plane. And they just keep doing this over and over again to us. And it's sickening me. I can't take it. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Oh my God. And nobody pays attention. Nobody's paying attention as it happens. They're just too busy watching their games and their busy lives. But more and more people that are awake are starting to let people understand what's going on. And the one thing about the American people, and I heard somebody say this, a politician actually, someone in the Kentucky or something was on a radio show here in Connecticut that I was listening to. It might have been WDRC, I think, I don't know. And she was saying that, and I liked what she said, clearly she was aware of what's going on with the Washington power clique and everything and all this other stuff that's going on. And she made a commentary about when the people are aware and they know what's going on, you know, they feel that they understand the problem, they will take action. So our biggest challenge and our biggest gift is to spread this information to wake the people up. Because no, you're not going to give me a vaccine. You're not going to give me my children vaccines. You're not going to give me a flu shot. I'm not drinking fluoridated water. You're not taking my rights away. You're not telling me that I can't own this gun or that gun. You're not telling me that I can't scream at a politician 50 feet away from him. You're not telling me that you can come into my house and take me away because I'm a threat to the President of the United States because he thinks so. I mean, this is an insane closing society that's closing in on us every minute. And if you don't believe that it's breaking down. I mean, I have a little segment here on 20 signs that society is breaking down and that America has become overrun by psychos. And that's true. I mean, this guy in Miami, I mean, how can we not forget this insane lunatic? Homeless person on some sort of LSD, I understand. I heard that on the news. LSD. That he was tripping out, and he basically went Hannibal Lecter and ate this guy's face, like 80% of this guy's face. It's incredible. You know, the whole concept. In fact, I was listening on the radio. The people on the rock stations are talking about it. You know, the zombie apocalypse, and you know, they gave him. This is probably some sort of an MK Ultra type thing as well. They gave this homeless person, typical, I mean, homeless people are easy to get together, easy to get subject matters from, and they usually have no connections. That's why they're homeless. Officers found one man gnawing on the guy, right? You know, and they found him like he had been eating on him, chewing on his face. Then, not only that, the cop shot him, and he kept eating. And the cop had to shoot him again to kill him. It's crazy. I have an actually, I do actually have a piece on this, about this, and I couldn't believe it, you know, that we have this zombie type thing going on. And I heard on, again, a rock station, 104.3 here in Connecticut, I think it was 104.3 or 104.1, and they were talking about, the DJs are talking about this whole, you know, tripped out thing with the zombies and it's cannibalism, and it is like a breakdown of society. So we have an article here by Michael Snyder of the American Dream that I was looking at, and he actually used this in the article. It's very current. It's written today. American Dream published today by Michael Snyder, and society is breaking down on every level, socially, economically, politically, and it's not just the U.S., it's worldwide, and that's true. It's all part of this controlled, drugged out society, and now this guy supposedly took some sort of special type of LSD, or that's what they were saying on the radio. All right, now I have not time to research this yet, but that's what they said. They were talking that it was that on the radio we have people saying that these guys were on acid, and that's what they're telling the people on the millions of people that listen to Connecticut rock radio. So if you ask my opinion about it, it's MK Ultra mind control, and it's part of this whole bioweapons thing, like Frank Olson was involved in with the CIA. And all about bioweapons and diseases and brain-eating bacterias, and there's all sorts of crazy, crazy things. But yes, there is a scuttlebutt going out there, a urban legend that the guy was on some sort of special type of LSD, and this is the zombie apocalypse, signs of that. Well, you know, we'll see about that. I definitely have never heard anything so insane in my life. We'll hear how this whole thing comes out with continuing coverage of it. Now, cannibalism is what we were talking about here. So, from that particular aspect, we have the same article down in Miami. As I mentioned, this guy was tearing him to pieces. This is quote unquote from a witness. The guy was like tearing him to pieces with his mouth, so I told him get off, Vega said. The guy was just eating the other guy away, like ripping his skin. Vega flagged down a police officer who he said repeatedly ordered the attacker to get off the victim. The attacker just picked his head up and growled at the officer. And as the attack continued, Vega said the officer shot the attacker, who continued chewing the victim's face. The officer fired again, killing him. And again, the guy lost most of his face. Also down in Florida, it must be like something going on in Florida. Maybe like extra chemtrails and you know, it's just like that movie, what was it called? There's a movie with the sheriff and all these people become like zombies, and the sheriff's like the good guy, and he's actually really good. It was an excellent movie about zombies. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Recent film. Good film. Anyhow, down in Florida, a crazed doctor spit a mouthful of blood on state troopers during a DUI arrest, and he had like $40,000 in his pocket. He repeatedly smashed his head against a partition until blood began gushing from the front of his face. I mean, this is nuts. And then a lot of people talk about Detroit, but a 22-year-old pregnant woman survived after being bound, driven to Detroit, set on fire, and shot. I mean, it's just out of control. She's 9 months pregnant, had returned from a movie with a boyfriend and dropped him off when she was approached from behind. She was then forced into a car and driven to an unknown place in Detroit, where she was doused with lighter fluid, set on fire, and shot once in the upper back. I mean, this is just madness. Absolute madness. Unbelievable. On and on. Down in Georgia, a police officer recently kicked a woman who was 9 months pregnant, speaking of that, directly in the stomach. His superiors in the local police department defended his actions. Sexual abuse that happens to children in homes all over America each night is absolutely unspeakable. Here in California, this is unbelievable. A Superior Court judge sentenced a man to 40 years and 8 months to life in prison for sexually assaulting an 8-year-old female relative on Christmas Eve while family members slept in other rooms, calling his conduct depraved. And these pedophiles are everywhere. I mean, we have a breakdown of society. It's absolutely true. I can't even, you know, it's just going all these things. It just amplifies it. Flash mobs continue to rob convenience stores all over the country. In Baltimore, they went in, started going everywhere in the store, grabbing things, and then just ran out. I mean, they're smashing, grabbing everywhere. It's going to get worse as the economy gets worse. We have many major cities are turning into war zones. According to WGN, a total of 25 people were shot in a single night in Chicago recently. A 26-year-old high school teacher in Minnesota had been charged with sending naked photos of herself to the phone of a 17-year-old male student. I mean, all this different type of depraved behavior, both sides, with women and men. Murder, mayhem, robbery, theft. You know, it's like Sodom and Gomorrah. We're like living in Sodom and Gomorrah. Incredible. All right, it looks as though we've just about reached the hour there, and I just want to again thank everybody for tuning in. I'll be here again tomorrow night to continue our coverage of discussing Bilderberg and other news that's happening. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Howard Nema of We Are Change Connecticut, and now please, you have the great pleasure of listening to Harry Link, and stay around here with Death to the New World Order on TruthBroadcastNetwork.com.